What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Brewed Opinions podcast. It's finally here. We finally got Brady in studio, co-owner, PWR Pro Wrestling Rebellion. Welcome, man.
Yeah, man, welcome. Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it. I know you guys came out to the last show, and we were talking about doing this, and Christmas and holidays and schedules, and just
been busy, but we all finally timed up and got this thing in, even in between different schedules happening and shit, man.
Yeah, and it's perfect timing, man. Just in time, from what I hear, January 4th, New Year's Knockout, big show around the corner. What's going on there? Another show at OB's?
Yeah, we're coming back to OB's. We really love the atmosphere. We love that, it's there. We don't have to serve concession stands. We don't have to get drinks. It takes a unneeded expense out of us to have it there.
I think it was a perfect setup going to the last event, man.
No, I love it.
I was surprised how they were going to do it, because I was thinking about it, and I'm like, oh, they have that area in the back, and what a perfect setup. And
yeah.
Well, we got colder throughout the night. Those chops, dude. Those chops in that last match, I could feel them.
It's a little bit of a sting. But yeah, we did music there years ago. We did a Delaney Rock and Metal Festival. It's probably been 12 or 13 years since we did that. And OB's is just great. Outside venue, they've got food, they've got a bar, it works.
Yeah. No, it's a cool spot to land, and I remember going there and listening to my uncle play cover band stuff there and Mike Week shit back when I was a kid, and it's just a cool place, and it's good to see that they're allowing you to use their venue as a place to get this thing going.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, I like the setup. I like the matches. Everything was good. We got a little preview of the semifinals of the World Heavyweight title tournament.
Yep.
And now, come January 4th, we got the finals. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so the finals have been in the works for a while. Since we started up in August, we've had the idea of wanting to do, the heavyweight champion and have the right person, carry our name, because that's really what it is. The one guy that you put over, he's your guy for months at a time. So we got a good main event. It's the Shane Element Evans, and Tiberius coming back again, and somebody's going to walk away with that belt.
Yeah.
So somebody's going over. Shane posted a promo on the PWR page a couple days ago.
I saw it, yeah.
And I know they're both amped and ready for it. So.
It must be cool to finally be at the stage where the belt's here. All the hard work you guys have been putting in. And tell us a little bit about that. What's it like starting an independent?
It's a headache.
I can only imagine putting it all together, man.
Yeah. No, it takes time. Myself and Chris, my other co-owner, along with my dad and my mom, Chris has been talking about doing this for 10 plus years, as long as I've known him. Wanting to do his own wrestling thing, wanting to do this, wanting to do that. Both of us, did Olympic style wrestling.
And this is Chris Carnage, right?
Yes.
We saw him the other day.
He's got his own stuff going on with Forrest as well.
But we've talked about it for years, man. And then back in August, he came to me with the idea, and I was just like, hey man, this is what I want to do. This is what we're thinking. Do you want to be a part of it? And I was like, sure, why not? Let's figure it out. And we actually did the first show at City Limits, and
which the pictures were awesome there. We wish we were there. We didn't know about it until
It was we promoted quite a bit. We did that show for free. We didn't charge admission. We really just wanted to see what the draw was, and there was 50, 60 people for a free show out at DeLand. So
that's awesome.
The want is there for sure. And we did that show, and then we started getting ready for the next show in October, which was Haunted Havoc, and it was good.
And well, I love that you're having like the themed events. There's a theme to every event, and I can only imagine all the writing you guys are having to do. Plus, I'm sure you're carrying on full-time jobs.
Yep.
You all have families and family life, and it's just I can only imagine what it takes putting all that together.
It's
getting guys to get on board.
Yeah.
Oh, payments to wrestlers. At the last event, you guys had different wrestlers from different promotions come over, which is cool, and I'm sure they offer a good deal or just to be a part of the card. And
with a lot of the talent, they're independent contractors. So a lot of the indie scene, nobody's really tied down like you are with WWE or NXT or old school WCW. You're allowed to go and work where you want to work.
Because they're trying to put themselves over.
Yeah. I mean, they're trying to make a
next-
name for themselves,
Yeah.
and the more promotions you work, the more that they get out there, and the more that they get seen, the more bookings they get, and it can turn into a full-time job for them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what everybody
Trying to get themselves
wants.
on the road 365 days,
Yeah.
just like the WWE does it. And
We talked about it on this podcast. Like everybody that you see on Monday night, Tuesday night, Thursday night, Friday night started in a backyard. CM Punk is famous for backyard wrestling.
the Hardys,
And the Hardy
yeah.
Boys on their compound and
Mick
all
Foley.
these guys. Like people see them where they are now, but these guys have been wrestling for 20 years just to
Yeah.
get to that point, making millions of dollars. They don't remember the days when they're at OBs.
AJ
And-
Styles, how long did it take him to get to the WWE?
Yeah.
Yeah.
These guys all want to get to the WWE.
He was an old school Ring of Honor guy for a while,
Yeah,
wasn't he?
Ring of
Yeah.
Honor, TNA forever.
New
left
Japan.
TNA, went to New Japan. Ran the Bullet Club for a while, and then now, he signs his life. And I mean, I don't even see him on TV in forever, but he doesn't need to be. I mean, these guys, the schedule is different in WWE now than it's ever
Yeah.
been. These guys aren't on the road.
Yeah, when you think
days.
sometimes these guys are getting to the main event at age 35.
Yeah.
Like they're not like 25.
Yeah.
No.
That's when you're putting in all the hard work and the bruises and the learning how to take a fucking bump.
And I noticed when we were at Thanksgiving Throwdown, you had some talent there that were a little older, a little younger. Guys that looked like you could tell were a little bit more talented, a little bit
Some
more,
that are more green.
Yeah.
We have
which is I'm sure what independent wrestling's all about.
Oh yeah,
you got
for
both
sure.
sides of it.
We have a variety of everything. My dad actually, who is Dick Mondale, everybody will recognize him.
Dick Mondale, baby.
He used to
Called that no
wrestle-
DQ match.
Yeah.
Come on.
He used to wrestle and screenwrite for SECW back 25, 30 years ago. And that's when he was into it. So he's getting a lot, of nostalgia
Yeah.
coming back and doing this now at.
You don't have to say it, Dave.
55.
Put them under the bus there, Brady.
No. He's 50. I mean, I've always I'll have that image of my dad as a kid, when he was my age probably. And
So is that what he instilled, like the wrestling?
oh yeah.
You learned your love of wrestling?
My dad back in the day when I was a kid, I mean, was jacked, no neck, in the gym every day of the week, wrestling, doing all kinds of stuff outside. We raced motocross, we weren't into video games. We were very active. So
Not a traditional
Yeah,
family,
yeah.
as we're saying.
yeah, I don't. I still have that. I still have that vision of my dad that way. So when he's in the ring, I can see it.
That's awesome.
It's just
Yeah,
it's
That's
great.
really cool.
But I mean, I remember
You could
watching-
tell he was loving it too.
Oh,
When they were
yeah.
chanting his name at the last event. That was cool, man.
Yeah, you guys are starting a little following there, and now that this will be the fourth show.
We did September, October, November, December. This will be the third or fourth show.
Okay.
Somewhere along
And
there.
you've got plans to do basically every month through 2025.
Yeah, we're trying to run once a month. That's a lot.
We
of
joke
work to
about
do
it on this sheet. PLE.
Yeah.
Premium live
Premium
events.
live events. I was watching the first couple of some of the older podcasts. And I was like, what are they talking about? What is PLE?
We keep saying we know it as pay-per-view.
Right,
But now that everything is streaming, you don't pay per view anymore.
No.
So it's all PLEs, and they're making their money. I mean, Raw is going to Netflix on January 6th
Yeah.
for billions of dollars, and Netflix is all in on live sports now. They had 2
Oh,
football
yeah.
games yesterday on Christmas
Yeah.
Day. They had the Tyson fight, which was so big they couldn't even keep up with their
Yeah.
buffering. And that was a big thing. I'm sure Triple H was watching the football games yesterday to make sure the internet connection was there.
Yeah.
But live streaming has changed the game for pay-per-view. I mean, it's now, that's why they don't even call them pay-per-view events anymore.
Yeah, you don't have to beg your dad
Yeah.
anymore to pay $75 for WrestleMania.
Yeah, now you can get a $9.99 subscription and watch WrestleMania on Peacock. And I mean, wrestling has changed the current day stuff. I mean, what we're watching with all these, they're almost getting out of the cable business and getting into the live streaming
Yeah.
business.
They're taking control of their own product.
I mean, even if you look at some of the smaller companies like TNA and New Japan being on Access TV and all on what's the Fight TV, I believe it's
Oh
called.
yeah.
Now, do you think that, as a business, proposal, or just thinking business-wise, because of social media now, even doing podcasts, we've talked about it tons of times, how much easier it is today to promote a product, put it out there, get eyes on it.
Oh, for sure.
It's got to be helpful to be if you started this thing 10 years ago, how much harder would it be to get people out? You'd be flying in every fucking storefront, and you know.
Yeah, tell us what social
it's funny
media.
you say that because we still do the flyer route. So like we still print flyers and we go spam
Well, you got a flyer.
downtown DeLand.
Well, you come from a music background too,
Yeah.
flyers are fucking everything.
Flyers are standard, man. Like you gotta have a flyer. If you don't have a flyer,
Just to feel
like,
good about
like
yourself, right?
Yeah. But that was one of the things that we were talking about. I was discussing with somebody about Riot. They do a lot of online promoting, and online promoting, it's great. Facebook's changed the world of getting a show or getting an event or getting something out there just because of 3 clicks, and I've invited 600 people to it.
Yeah.
The Netflix thing with WWE and all that, I'm excited to see how it goes. You know, I'm hoping that they have enough bandwidth to stream it because, you know, the Tyson Paul fight was one of those ones where I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'd be happy about this if I was Triple H watching, and you know I couldn't watch more than 4 or 5 minutes, and it would freeze. But it's going to mainstream all of it directly to everyone,
Every household.
Yeah.
At that exact moment.
And now on demand. I mean, you can go back and watch it whenever.
Oh
you
yeah.
want. WWE Network, I think that was groundbreaking when they came out with it, 10, 15 years ago.
And people thought they were stupid.
Yeah, and now they've
It's
got
on Peacock or Hulu. It's on one of
Peacock right now.
Because I went back and I watched the first WrestleMania and just went all the way back and
Oh,
watched
the catalog is awesome, man.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can go watch like documentaries, and they got so much cool programming on
WWE
there.
does amazing documentaries.
Yes.
Like the Bray Wyatt documentary is phenomenal. And
Vince McMahon.
yeah, Vince McMahon. That's a Netflix, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
We
a
watched it.
6-parter. But yeah, so let's talk about get back to PWR a little bit in this upcoming show. You get the semifinals of 2 matches that were kind of different. You had one match that had a run-in that put somebody from a cross promotion, and then you had the other one where it got turned into a no DQ match.
Yep.
Shane Evans earned that. I mean, Ramos was nasty.
Oh yeah.
He was nasty, and he earned that spot in that final.
Oh, for sure. Ramos is fierce, man. He's just a really good talent. I mean, he works the ring really, really well.
Worked the crowd pretty
worked
good.
the
He had
crowd
all
really
KT.
good.
I was ready to jump in the ring and get in some action.
He was hitting DeLand pretty hard, and
Yeah,
that's
he
what
was.
you do. It's a good draw heat. I mean,
And he drew it up perfect to where he even made you think he was a good guy at the end, and then
the low blow.
low blow. It was phenomenal. It was awesome. It really was a cool night.
Yeah, he's another one. He's been in the business a long time, and we were really excited to work with him and have him out to a show. Shane's been in the business for a long time, and the 2 of them we thought were perfect. It was an idea that I originally pitched for Haunted Havoc back in October, and we were just like, no, let's just wait. And then when we started working on the show for the last show, I can't remember the name of it now.
Thanksgiving Throwdown.
Thanksgiving
I
Throwdown.
got you.
Yeah, sorry. It's been a long week, man.
He's got a young baby at home.
We do the PWR stuff. I run 2 photography businesses, plus a 9 to 5, like you said. Like all of us for the last month have been just go. But I pitched the idea then too, and it was just about showcasing that at the right time. And what better time than pre-semifinal before a heavyweight
Their
championship?
styles worked together well in the ring.
Yeah.
Like that, you could
They
tell
told
they
the
had
story.
chemistry. It was a really good match.
Oh,
Yeah,
for sure.
It was good. It was one of the best matches. And then on the flip side, the other semifinals, Kenny's boy, Alejandro Bravo.
Oh yeah, I love
you could
Alejandro
tell
Bravo.
him. You could tell he was polished. He had been around a
Oh,
little
as soon
bit.
as he hit the ring.
But us being new to your promotion and new to the
Seeing
local,
these guys for the first time.
seeing Zion from Riot Wrestling come, we were all like, "Who's this guy?"
Yeah.
And, so tell us a little bit how that kind of happened to put Tiberius into the finals.
Long story short, I didn't know anything about that. There was a lot about Thanksgiving Throwdown that
You mean they kept a secret?
Yes.
They took the wrestling business kept
the
a secret.
The whole DQ match, the whole out of the ring thing, I knew nothing about. Which I don't mind because when I'm at the shows, when you know everything, it's not as fun.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't mind being left in the dark.
Because you're a
sometimes.
fan too.
Yeah, I love it, dude. But when they were going out,
You
the
just
ring,
didn't want him to break anything.
Yeah. Like, I remember because I was standing next to you guys, and I was just like, "Oh my God, please don't let us have to use our insurance." Right? Like, they're throwing each other against the side of the stage.
Oh, the full
Into
brawl
the
broke out
bar.
into the bar
Oh, they
with
were pretty
regular
good.
patrons who weren't even there for it.
They were pretty good though. You could tell they were cautious of what was
Oh,
going
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Oh, they were
sure.
excellent at like.
They cleared it with, old man OB, and they made sure everything was kosher. They just forgot to, let me in on it. But again, it's fine because it really, like, it made me remember why I loved this so much, why I got so into it, trying to figure out, like, is this part of it? Is this not part of it? Is this real? Is this not real? Because, we're growing up watching wrestling.
The element of suspense is what keeps you.
Oh, for sure.
What keeps you indulged in it.
Yeah, but I mean, every wrestling fan has had that moment where you're like, oh, okay, it's not really what I thought it was, and I remember having that moment when I was like 12 or 13, and like, because before that I thought all this was real, like, oh my god, they're stapling stuff to their back, and I mean, there's an aspect of it to it that is very real. I've got into the ring, I've been doing a little bit of training, I can't go too in depth with that right now, about where we're going with that, but I'm learning bumps, I'm doing suplexes, taking suplexes. I mean, you take a hit.
Yeah, I've seen the videos.
You feel it for sure. It's not as like everybody thinks. When they're
So you got that going on too.
Yeah.
Body aches everywhere.
Yeah, just a whole lot of tape and icy hot. But I've been talking to a lot of people over the years and like, yeah, it's just soft. And I'm like, it's not though. Like you really don't.
It's plywood.
Yeah, and the piece of foam that we use is only about that thick. I mean, it's not like your mattress. It's a pretty stout piece of foam. So one of the first things that I learned going into the ring was tuck your chin and breathe out.
Yeah.
And you'll be good. I mean, there's still stuff that I need to work on doing, like taking superplexes off the top rope. Not quite there yet to hit that mat from 10, 15 up, but.
Not to mention just hitting the fucking ropes, man.
Oh yeah, no, that was a hard first lesson, like turning the right way and hitting the ropes with the fat side of your back and not the side. I had a couple bruises for a couple weeks where I was just like, oh, I'm gonna just throw myself into them. Yeah, don't do that.
Plus learning how to come off them, like, I mean, I'm sure that's all a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's a lot of practice, it's a lot of repetition to get yourself where you're
when
comfortable.
you get that all figured out, you gotta worry about
Yeah, then you gotta learn how to.
else.
Then you gotta learn how to take it.
Yeah, no, you gotta have the right chemistry with somebody. I do a lot of practice with Josh. We're the same build. Coming from Olympic style wrestling to, the performance side of wrestling, everything's working left. Everything's about showmanship. Everything's about sells. Everything's about, clean executions. Whereas Olympic style wrestling, it's a lot of groundwork, and you're just like trying to move as fast and as strategically as you possibly can. And this is vastly different.
Putting your opponent over, like, that's a huge thing.
Oh, for sure. Pens, I mean, in Olympic style, everything was just like shoulders down, pen, like, there you go, cool, point. It's just a lot of variations. Technically, when you Olympic style wrestling, you don't have people like kicking out, 2 count and just like, all right, rest break, breathe.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. It's fun.
So we were talking earlier about like your dad was in the wrestling and everything and had his thing going on. What was going on in professional wrestling? WWE will say, like when you first
Attitude Era?
Attitude Era.
What's your first?
Because you're a little bit younger than us. Like
Yeah.
we were around like for Hogan. It's like I was wondering if it was like Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, or if it was more Stone Cold and The Rock. Like when
The Rock was around I was really big fan of the Hardy Boys. Those were the two that were just like.
I could see that for you.
Yeah. The tattoos, the colored hair, like it was the trip hand, like the whole thing about it was just like it was just Attitude Era, and it was just everything about it was edgy.
It screamed off the screen to you.
Yeah. But I mean that comes from having a background with the cousin that played music, growing up racing motocross. My uncle airbrush paints.
I can totally see the Hardy Boys.
It's from a let's call it well-rounded background. But those were the two that really like. I was just like, oh my god, this is awesome. Like, I remember watching, I can't remember which one. One of them swanton bombing off the top of Hell in a Cell onto the table, and I'm just sitting there like, yeah. And I mean, I don't think I was a teenager. I'm just sitting there at the screen, just like, oh my god, like this guy's dead. Like he's dead on the floor. It's on live TV. Like it's dead.
And then somehow he finishes the match.
Yeah, but like the Hardy Boys. Lita.
Well, they're
Lita with that thong, man.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
There were things that we shouldn't have been watching on, like, I mean, I watched some of the old stuff, when Trish Stratus got her bra ripped off, and she's on live TV just covering her boobs, and I'm like, who allowed us like to watch this? Because I remember every Thursday night it was 8:00, glued to the TV.
Oh yeah.
You know, it was SmackDown. I believe it was SmackDown. It came on Thursdays.
It was one of the best eras. It's kind of exciting about the new Netflix is that I don't know that they're going to go completely that way, but I do think they're going to open up a little bit more and still keep it kid friendly.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, having the freedom to bring back that attitude type era, because Vince McMahon was always like, you know, I'm a family friendly deal, and then he started getting his ass kicked by Eric Bischoff in WCW when he was pushing the edges and things, and he said, "Fuck it, we gotta go.
Yeah,
we gotta go.
We gotta go
non-PG era."
Netflix has some edgier stuff on there over the last couple of years that I've watched. Some movies where I'm just like, "Oh, this is a good movie," and then just full frontal nudity. I'm like, "Oh, all right, I didn't know this was on here." But I would like them to see them bring back some more of the edgy content. I mean, I hate to say it, sex sells, always has, always will.
Yeah.
But I think we all turned out all right for
sure.
what it was.
Yeah, it didn't ruin us.
We talked about this a couple weeks in one of our holiday episodes about just memories of us growing up, and you bring up the Hardy Boys. One of the best, I want to say, three-way feuds in tag team wrestling is the Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian, and the Dudley Boys. Those matches, the first ever tables, ladders, and chairs match at Madison Square Garden,
set a whole new standard for.
I believe Jeff Hardy does the swanton off the entrance of the Madison Square Garden, and then you had the spear off the ladders, which goes down as one of the biggest spots ever. It's like those and I even challenged Kenny. I said, name me another tag team that was around then. And then he named the Acolytes, but the Acolytes weren't getting on top of ladders.
I mean, the whole DMX thing was around then, or DX.
DX.
Sorry.
New Age Outlaws.
The whole
DMX was there.
He was there. But the whole DX thing was there. But like Triple H was always a great performer. Shawn Michaels was always a great performer. But
it was a great time.
They weren't doing the flips, the spins. I mean, just a lot of the stuff that was just like.
You got that in a lot of secondary promotions that were doing that stuff to get eyes on the programming, and Vince never did stuff like that.
ECW doing crazy shit with Rob Van Dam, and
I think the only thing that really came closest to that for me was when Undertaker threw Foley off the top of the Hell in a Cell and put him through the announcer booth. I mean, that was another, like, because Mick Foley's a big guy. Like, I mean, he's not huge, but he's not my size. He's not the Hardy size. Like, that's a lot of man to be tumbling to the ground.
From the top of the game.
I love listening to Undertaker about that when Mick tells him, "Throw me off," and he's like, "Huh?" Like, I mean,
not to mention the time he went through the cage because
that wasn't supposed to happen. The cage broke, and that's what busted his teeth out because the chair hit.
Yeah.
God, Mick
and
Foley.
it returns to the fucking ring. Yeah. Like a madman.
The medical crew's like, "No," and he's like, "No, I'm going back in." And you can see Undertaker standing in the ring like, "What the fuck do I do with this guy?"
These guys are athletes. Because I mean, I remember watching
athletes or psychos. I don't know.
It's a combination of both. I mean, because the guy Boogeyman.
Oh yeah.
That was a whole thing. I mean, I remember the guy with the one leg.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember his name, but like
Zach something.
Yeah. But he got in the ring with Big Show one time. I'm just like, what is happening?
He was amazing.
Watch the Big Show like basically push him around.
Why can't we think of that guy's name?
I can't remember. I talked to so many people that like only remember parts of him, but like I remember he was one of the one people that I really loved watching just because like he's got one leg, and I mean it was awesome. He moved so well, and it just.
And it
was incredible.
They let him, like, Vince actually gave someone like that a shot, which is totally against everything that he wants.
Oh, yeah.
Vince wants big, I don't care who you are.
But it's controversial, man. I mean, I remember he was having a match, I think it was with Lesnar, and his mom was ringside. And I remember, I want to say Lesnar, like, picked him up and threw him out of the ring or hit him with his prosthetic leg or something.
Yeah,
I
do remember that.
His mom is on ringside just screaming. I'm just like, it's great. Whoever wrote this is a genius.
He definitely hit him with the prosthetic leg. I remember that.
Yeah,
so it was either him or Batista or something like.
I want to say it was Lesnar before he went and did his whole like UFC thing.
Yeah,
because like Lesnar was another one that like when he came on the scene. I mean, I remember Vince. That era, everything needed to be bigger than life. So like you had Lesnar, you had Randy Orton, Batista. I don't know if you guys have seen Batista lately. He's like a shell of what
he's
he
lost
used
a
to
ton
be.
of weight.
I mean,
all do.
All these guys were just
Cena's down.
Ripped.
Rock went down first, but now he's jacked himself back up.
Well, it's kind of cool to like just hear like, cause like I said, we're a little bit older than you, and Jay and I grew up in the more of like the cartoonish. I don't want to say cartoonish era, but it was a cartoonish era. The characters and all that stuff. You grew up in the fucking the badass zone where the wrestlers were smaller because Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart proved you don't have to be a 300-pound muscle giant to like put on a show. Vince, I think that's why he started allowing like some of these up and comers to come and get the belts and be.
I mean, I remember in the late '90s we talked about on the podcast is the Monday Night Wars, which basically created, the style of wrestling today. I mean, Eric Bischoff had an idea saying, "I'm going to blur the lines of reality."
And he did.
You're going to look at my TV and you're going to wonder, is this really happening? When you got two guys, the outsiders, show up
even
on
as
TV.
As an older teen, like 16, 17, watching that new professional wrestling was scripted, was like, this doesn't feel scripted. Like, actually, like knowing wrestling scripted and getting over that hurdle when I was like 8 years old and realizing that it was scripted but still awesome. It's like, now you have this point where it's like, is this fucking, are the outsiders really, taking over?
Remember the Vince McMahon death? Like, where they and like how controversial that was? Because like there were people that were calling him like, is he really dead? And
well, the thing that happened with that is he died. He got killed off, and then the Chris Benoit situation happened, and they had to axe the whole storyline.
Yeah. And that's one of the things because like we have a production chat, and a couple group chats with the guys. I'm a real big Chris Benoit fan, and so like they're like, you can't talk about this; it's too controversial. And I'm just like, but
Chris Benoit was in the ring one of the greatest ever.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he was one
of
my
favorites. You can't
favorites.
speak for him outside the ring.
No, and you can't really with anybody. But I think it brought a sense of awareness to not only wrestling but like football with CTE, and I think that was it's been a big safety point. And I think that was one of the real reasons they got rid of chair spots.
Yeah.
I mean, chair spots back in the day were
all the time
brutal.
Now they're only on the back.
Yeah.
Unless, most recent when Sean Spears went head on with Cody. Yeah. And Cody told him to do it.
Yeah.
And basically created a new character for Sean Spears, the chairman.
Yeah.
I mean, that was, and Spears even talks about it, how Cody told him to hit him like that. Mm-hmm. And he was just like, holy shit, I'm going to get fired.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit Cody Rhodes.
Well, I was watching something, I think it was Undertaker and somebody else. I just caught a clip of it. And they did it a couple years ago and they got fined. It was Undertaker and Triple H. And it was after he had married Stephanie. And they did a chair spot. And they fined both of them. It was just like, yep, they're both getting fined. He's like, dude, I for sure thought we were getting fired. Like, they're going to get rid of us. But
well, we were talking, this conversation was kind of making me think about, like, we were talking about earlier about, like, how social media is awesome to build a business now because you get so many more eyes on your product. Mm-hmm. But also, it changed wrestling big time because they used to get away with all this shit back in the day because there was no instant news cycle out to things. Now, everything, it's like, even trying to keep their stories straight and hidden. They gotta Pat McAfee, when he did the surprise show up at WrestleMania, they had him flying undetected, had him covered up the whole time because any one person gets a glimpse of him. And Michael Cole, who loves him, didn't even know that McAfee was there. Like, that's how much they have to do now to keep things.
Social media as a whole, I mean, it's helped so much, but it's gonna hurt a lot.
Right.
Because
you gotta learn to navigate it and how to like use it to your advantage.
Oh, for sure. Wrestling fans are deep, man. They're crazy. I mean, there's
the full heart ones, man. They know everything.
Like, oh my god, this guy's a wrestler and he's here and he's getting off a plane. Click Facebook. It's done. Dude.
Yeah.
I remember when Cody came back, they had to hide him in an RV. Mm-hmm. And even when Seth Rollins was hurt and he had to come back and he attacked Roman Reigns that night, this was before Bloodline. Like, this was but the only way you can do it, and that even when CM Punk came back, Randy Orton was the only one at that War Games match that knew he was going to come out.
Yeah.
And he was told as he was walking out to the ring by Triple H, be like, "Hey, Punk's coming back tonight." He goes, "You're going to ruin my," because he was out too.
Yeah.
He's like, "You're going to ruin my night back," and he was like, but he knew how big it was.
Yeah.
And that's why Seth was so pissed. Like, people thought that was. I mean, he was, because everybody hated Punk for what he did.
Yeah.
And Seth, for someone that carried the WWE after he left, it was, Seth is somebody that fits that Jeff Hardy, Shawn Michaels,
Yeah.
type real in today's world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Seth Rollins is great, man. I just remember when they used to get Undertaker to the ring, put him under the ring, and he'd be under there for ever, and it's so hard to get away with stuff like that now. It's different. Like you said, social media has been a great tool, but it's been
A learning process.
It's been a learning process because like there's stuff that we do so for anybody that doesn't know, our ring is set up in my house. We train. It's literally sitting in my yard. We pull stuff out of the shed and we do stuff. And like there's certain things that like just for the sake of content, wanting to be able to post stuff. Like there's certain things that I can't post.
Right.
Just because somebody's gonna go.
They're training together.
It's trying to keep kayfabe alive and like not break the storyline for the people that are super into it. And it's become rough because we want to share everything with you guys and we want to hype it up, but there's certain things that I have to pull back on and be like, oh, I can't say this yet, or oh, I can't do this, or oh, I can't post this because somebody's gonna go here and here and here, and then
they'll figure it out.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
So coming back to you a little bit, Brady, I've noticed online you've posted some things about your photography.
Yeah.
Sorry. Are you starting a wrestling venture, or is that?
I'm gonna get in. I'm training. I'm gonna get in the ring. We're gonna do some stuff. It's part of the storyline. It's something I've always been interested in since I was little. It's a double-edged sword because I do all of our photography and videography at shows. So trying to find people that can step in and do that.
Are you starting a photography company based on just wrestling?
So I actually already did.
Okay.
And it was just because I had somebody that brought up a really good point. My traditional style of photography, like portraits, weddings, things like that, when you have people that are spending a lot of money on a wedding photographer, they don't want to be able to go in through a feed and go, oh, there's wrestling. You're going to question, that person's professional. And so I kind of split it up.
People don't understand the business.
I noticed you posted some things online with possibly a different.
Yeah, so I have Top Rope Photography, and then I have my personal one, which is Brady Gibson Photography, and it's just sports, and then the mom and dad pictures of here's your kids, or here's and then this one's just like there's Boomer, there's somebody doing a 6:30
It's good
top
stuff.
rope.
It really is. I really like that. Your shots that you did at the City Limits show.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. I mean, I haven't seen any yet. You've only done a couple from OBs. So
So last time
I know
we
you're
were
doing a lot of video
at
at OBs that night.
I did a little bit of video, but that being the first show there at OBs, I put the camera down as much as I didn't want to. I wanted to make sure the show went well. I wanted to get our feet wet of how the layout was going to go because, like I said, with the time change, we had lights. And I don't know if anybody noticed, but one of the lights over here, the bulb burned out, and then the light didn't work. And my biggest thing, like as much as I love the content, I want the content out there. I want our guys to be safe. I want the people at the show to be safe. Like, I don't want to do a show where people are questioning whether they can see to do, spots safely.
It's just another thing as an owner that you're having to like juggle and deal with.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, we were watching you run around like crazy that night. Like, oh, who needs this? Like, what?
We
trying to entertain us in between moments.
Enjoyed it. Like, you guys were great to us. A couple of the wrestlers came out, introduced themselves to
it
us.
was awesome.
Like, we enjoyed it. We'll be there every show from here on out. Like, it was awesome. So we, one of the other as far as leading up to New Year's Knockout, is there anything else we can look forward to besides that championship?
We're going to do a championship belt. We're talking about how we are going to crown over the champion right now. There's going to be a big spectacle
Coronation,
in a way.
Yeah.
So
Festival of Friendship, right?
Still in talks a little bit. Like I said, we try not to give out too much detail, but it's definitely going to be something that you guys are not going to want to miss. We've put a bunch of time into it. We've got stuff that we didn't have at the last show. We've got stickers made finally. We actually have merchandise. We have shirts that are coming out. We're working on some actual
KT, we need to get a couple of these, man.
Working on some actual shirt designs that I showed you guys earlier. Haven't posted those yet, but you guys.
Yeah, it all looked awesome.
Just to make it stand out. We've seen some other indies that have merch, and they're pretty traditional standard logos. We want to be over the top.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Makes sense. Put your best foot forward.
Oh yeah. Well, the guys make fun of me. They're like, "You can't just go Vince everybody." I'm like, I'm trying not to, but you know.
Hey, if you have a vision, man, go for that vision.
Yeah. Like that's the same thing that we're doing with this podcast, and then being able to work with you a little bit and get involved in this and talk about it. We enjoyed the first show. Like,
oh yeah, no, we love it. We all the show names for the next year are done. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
It's all written out. Storylines being worked on. There's some stuff in there that is gonna really just throw everybody for a loop. It's not all quite ironed down yet, but we know the direction we're headed, and that's the most important part.
Here's a question for you, talking about that. Like, what's been the writing process been like? Like, is there how many guys you have writing? Is it everyone? Are the wrestlers involved?
We try to get everyone that's on ownership involved. With this month and Christmas month, it's been really hard. We were supposed to have a meeting, ownership meeting a couple weeks ago, but with schedules, it's been
tough time of year,
difficult to do. But collectively, the idea is to try to get everybody on the same page so the company progresses forward in a manner that's
together,
amicable for everybody.
Yeah.
Diva D, my mom, she was over the top.
Yeah, she was awesome.
Over the top.
Diva D was awesome.
Completely over the top.
Diva D and Dick Mondell. I mean, what more can you ask for, man?
No, it's great, and we've got a lot of stuff in line for them that's gonna just blow this thing wide open. But it's a joint effort.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be because, like I said, we all work full-time jobs. We all have kids. We all have.
Then at some point in time, you one hour of the day you got to be creative.
Yeah, pretty much.
Muster up all that creativity.
And so like Chris Carnage, he's a big part of it.
Yeah.
And he's got a little problem that he's dealing with somebody, the entitled millennial.
Yeah.
And that had a lot of curves in the first thing. Do we have something to look forward to between these two guys? Or I know that
there is something coming. I haven't looked at it yet. Just through everything that I've been doing. There will be something that'll come out middle of next week that will really set the pace for.
Speaking of the entitled millennial, he he had an issue that we were having you first on the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
he came on talking shit to us about having Brady Gibson on and them dodging and it taking too long, and that he's ready to come on anytime he wants to.
Yeah. So
Forrest, he was my star of the night. Me and KT are starting a tradition every premium live event. We want to give a star of the night, and Forrest was mine because he was kind of the intricate guy throughout the beginning. We opened the show. He was the first one out. He was on with Chris in the ring. He cost the match, and then Chris cost him the Fatal 4-Way match. So I like to see where that ends up. But Forrest is definitely he's talking to us a little bit. But we thought it was the right thing to do to have the co-owner on first, and then we'd be happy to have Forrest on. I think.
He's we did Chris did a podcast with another guy. God, I can't remember his name, but Josh hijacked the podcast. Like they were doing a podcast.
Oh, I saw that.
Josh called. It was on Instagram, and took it over and it was the whole thing. But it's those guys. We'll see where it goes.
I think he's great. I mean, it's a great character for the entitled millennial. I mean, he's entitled.
Oh, we want him on the show. Yeah. We just were going to put Brady on first. And he's all up in his skirt. But I guess he's entitled. He got the special entitlement contract that got him the shot at the...
I think that's cool. I can't wait to see where that all... It sounds like we're going to find out in the next week or so. But is there any other... matches that you want to talk about outside of the main event of the heavyweight championship match?
We have a couple matches coming up. I'll just go through the first two. I'm going to save the rest of them for the day of the show.
Yeah.
But we're going to open up with Alex Jensen and Ethan Olsen. Both of those guys were there last time in that Fatal 4-Way.
Those guys were good.
Yeah, they're going to get a chance to...
Was that the guy, the Viking?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have Gordy Rattler, Boomer, DMT, and Bam. And two of those guys on there are going to be brand new to us, so they've never wrestled.
Boomer was at the last show, right?
Yep, Boomer was there. But the big thing with this show is we have a brand new ring.
Oh, nice.
So ring skirt, brand new turbo pads, brand new canvas.
That's
It's gonna be the first time use for everybody. Our sponsors finally on the side of the ring. It's all completely done up. I haven't even put it together and seen it myself yet. I'm probably gonna have to see it the first time day of show. But it's all gonna be brand new stuff.
Nice. Tell us about your sponsors.
So one of the first main sponsors that we have right now is also Building Materials. It's a company that my dad works for. Tom's a great guy. They're over in Ormond Beach off US 1.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lumber yard. It's fitting.
We grew up in Ormond, so we know
Yeah,
it very well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So lumber yard, we are at some point are gonna have to replace the boards on the ring, but it was an idea my dad pitched and we took off with it.
That's awesome, and that's
So-
where it starts, like getting
Yeah.
Anything you
sponsorships
can
and
get
funding.
people to do that to cut your expenses down.
Oh yeah, and that was a big thing, like getting into the indie scene and watching some of these other local promotions and not having sponsors, and it was a big turning point for us to be like, there's more people out there that want to get involved in this, and it helps us out because, I mean, like I said, the ring skirts, the turnbuckle pads, the
Shit isn't
canvases,
cheap.
stuff's not cheap. We got a one-time use.
Booking the venue, all that,
Yeah,
paying
yeah.
the wrestlers.
Paying the
town.
wrestlers is probably the most important.
Oh yeah, for sure. We make
For
jokes about it.
you to create your credibility to
Oh
them.
yeah.
Because as you're building, you can't guarantee what your gate's gonna be.
No, and we usually we'll create a budget and we make sure that all of our guys that are working with us are taken care of first.
Yep, that's
Before
awesome.
anything else. I mean, even at the last show, we had to go run to the bank just to make sure that everybody was squared away. We want everybody that works with us leaving satisfied and not questioning,
Yeah.
morals or.
It's going to be hard to get people back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's because once, especially in the indie scene, man, once somebody burns somebody, it spreads like wildfire. And I mean, it's promotions have come and gone over, literally.
So that wrestling world's a tight knit group.
Yeah.
Things can spread
And
fast.
this seems like a tight knit area. Besides PWR Riot Wrestling, is there any other in this area that you guys kind of have a relationship with, or is it just the two of you?
There is. It's not something I can get into right now.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
quite yet. But there's
I like
gonna be
it.
some new stuff popping up over in Ocala. Our
Nice.
way.
That seems
or
like it'd be a good area.
my
yeah.
way. And there's a promoter over there that I've been kind of going back and forth with every day for the last 2 days at least. It's a brand new promotion. He hasn't really had a show yet. He's trying to navigate the water. And he'll actually be at the show on the 4th as well.
Nice.
So we
Nice.
can meet him. And it's just networking, man. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
it really is. It's networking. We
What's the relationship like with Riot? I know that you guys have kind of
Good.
had wrestlers go.
Yeah, we
And, obviously Zion showed up at the
Yeah,
last
yeah.
one and called, and I guess they had a match the next weekend.
Yeah. So a lot of Riot's promo picks that they're using on flyers right now, I went over about a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago, and shot all that for them. It's just connections, man. JD's a great guy. He loves the business. He's really into it. And at the end of the day, we want every promotion to do well.
Mhm.
We're not out here trying to take over, even though I joke about it all the time in the chat that I'm in with the guys. I'm like, I'm taking over Florida. Like, I'm gonna Vince McMahon everybody. Territory's done. No, we want everybody to be.
Do we have to fake your death too?
it would probably alleviate Chris just a little bit. I'm a PR nightmare apparently.
No, but it makes sense to use the other promotions to help each other, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I was thinking more back in the day, like when they had the SmackDown and the Raw feud, and like there was the big clash.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities there.
There's
If
a
you
lot of
start with
storyline.
an invasion type situation. There's and potentially, I don't know. You said you have the whole year already done, but a potential old school Survivor Series where you've got actual 4-person teams where they've gone away with. I would love to see a traditional Survivor Series match at Survivor Series, which I thought we were going to get one this year with the Wyatt Six and Final Testament. I thought we were going to get an actual one, but the thing that I think that WWE I love how they're going with War Games, but like that traditional Survivor Series match would be so cool, and for you to be able to work with other promotions in this area and to have some kind of angle, that'd be cool to see.
Yeah, no.
As a fan, like now that we're getting more involved with your storylines and things,
it's definitely something that we've talked about. It's just the right timing.
Yeah.
And getting, with indies, it's kind of hard because everybody's an independent contractor. So my angle for it is I want to find we share a lot of guys.
Yeah.
Tiberius
And
is on-
schedules have to line up, and you know, all
Yeah,
that.
no, there's a lot of work and an angle like that. I mean, just budgeting schedules, where we're gonna do it, you know, which ring we want to use. Riot has their own ring and all their own stuff. We share RJ. RJ announces for Riot. RJ announces for
Yeah,
us.
he was
RJ's
good.
a great guy. I mean, really just amazing announcer. Interacts with the crowd really well. You know, puts everybody over. You know, if we're doing a show and he sees things dying down a little, he'll get a little edgy real quick and get a response out of somebody. So we share a lot of talent. We share a lot of resources. And it works for everybody. It's really good. You know, like I said, we don't want to see anybody fail. But plus for the storyline aspect, you know, later on the road, that's going to play into a favor for everybody.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like Zion showing up was pretty cool. I remember I asked you, you were standing with us. I'm like, who's this guy? And he's like, oh, this is Zion from Riot Wrestling. And KT loved him some Alejandro Bravo.
Yeah.
And he didn't like to see his boy get cheated out.
Yeah.
And that's why I was bringing up, you know, both those semifinals matches where you had Shane that really earned that match, and then you had Tiberius that won by DQ.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how both of those paths meet each other in the finals.
Yeah, and they're two very dedicated guys. I mean, when you think about two guys wrestling for, you know, a heavyweight title, I don't have another two in mind that would be more interested in those guys. I mean, really, like I said, I haven't asked too much details about the show because I do like to be a little bit surprised, even though I'm helping running things. But you know, the first couple of shows that we did, I knew ins and outs of everything, and it was just kind of like, oh, okay, I knew that was going to happen. You know, I watched.
So this last show, you got to be a fan too.
Yes. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Especially with the Ramos and Shane thing.
And that also keeps it exciting for you.
No, it does. It does for sure. Like it. Like I said, it brought back some of that nostalgia. I was just sitting there in front of that, you know, tube TV of like, oh my God, he's dead. They're flipping off the cage. Oh my God, he's dead. Like it brought some of it back. And, you know, it really brought back. Reminded me why I love doing this, because when you're in the thick of it, man, like doing a show every month, it's so much work.
I can only imagine.
I've probably worked every weekend this month between the photo thing and wrestling planning, and you know, we pulled the ring with my truck and the trailer. It's a 2-hour escapade to get the trailer loaded up with the ring and to get everything into the truck and then drive it to, you know, show days are long. You figure hour and a half setup or hour and a half tear down to get the ring into the trailer. Drive it to Abiz, hour and a half set up there, do the show, hour and a half tear down, back in the trailer, and then when we get it back home, we have to set it back up. So within, you know, one show day, we do about 4 times. We tear down and put together a ring.
It's like a regular WWE production over here.
Yeah.
Only done by about 4 people.
I think last time when we did it, there was 3 of us.
Yeah.
So it's like we finally figured out how to get everything in the trailer and load it quicker and like get it down the road. But yeah, it's time consuming. Like I think we got to Obi's last time around 9:45, 10 o'clock, and I didn't get out of there until probably close to 11.
Yeah.
Didn't get the ring set up back at the house until after midnight. Like it's a lot of work. It's I hate show days, but I love them.
Yeah. I'm sure you guys will get better and better at it too.
Oh,
More efficient with it. What are the actual details of January 4th?
So
we know it's in Obi's.
It's gonna be at Obi's. Sorry, I gotta pull up notes real quick because
we want to make sure everybody knows where to be.
Yeah.
So I know it's DeLand, Obi's, DeLand, Florida. I believe it was an earlier start time, if I remember correctly.
Actually, I'm gonna call. We're gonna call Josh real quick because I think he can give us some details about the show.
And Josh is, we all know.
Oh yeah, it's the entitled millennial. So we're gonna call real quick. Just I was thinking about, I wanted to do it earlier, but you know, I wanted to give him a heads up.
Why, hello.
Hey, so I'm sitting here with the guys from Brewed Opinions. We just wanted to call you because they remembered your comment about coming on the podcast. So I just wanted to give you a call and let you know I was here.
We finally got him on, Forrest.
I mean, here's the thing. The fact that you guys are absolutely having Brady Gibson on this podcast before the start of the night of PWR's Thanksgiving Throwdown, like, it's a travesty, an absolute travesty. One man goes and takes a few little pictures and makes a man look good, and now he's on the podcast. This is absolutely, like, not only disrespectful to the entitled millennial, but, like, everybody. You could have had anybody on other than Brady.
Yeah, they were talking about having Chris next week.
And then you're going to have the no good SOB on, too. I mean, if you guys don't like me, then you can just say it, but come on.
No, you were Jay's pick of the week.
Hey,
he was your favorite.
You were the
man.
star of the night
He's a
in
heel guy.
JT's
JP's
eyes.
night, and then you disrespect me by just inviting Brady on. Then Chris Carnes, you're not even going to have me on before. I can understand Brady. He's got a little bit of ownership and takes a few photos. He's been on the streets and kissing people and shaking babies or something.
Shaking.
But Chris Carnes, what has he done? But except for interrupt my match and try to cost me my match. I mean, give or take, I might have cost him his, that might have happened. But, I mean, come on. I was just out there,
Yeah, they were asking if you were going to be at New Year's Knockout.
I don't know. We have to see what's on the schedule right now. I'm a free agent right now. I'm not a free agent. I'm very well requested all over this great state. So
yeah,
we'll
that's
just
right.
have to see what happens, Maybe I show up, maybe I don't, maybe I go on vacation. Have some vacation added into my contract that I need to use.
Well, it seems like you get slighted a little bit about everything. You truly are entitled, aren't you?
I am truly. I mean, is it not in my name? Can you not read? Maestro, that is who I am. I'm entitled to everything: championships, wins. And here's the thing: if you guys would have invited me on, I've already got the match stipulation picked out. But guess what? You won't find out.
Well, let's talk about it. When can we have you on?
I mean, you just need to get with my secretary. Get over there, and then we can work it out. Or you can reach out to me directly. Penny's could have reached out to me directly numerous times. Reached out to Brady. Reached out to Chris Carnes. Don't even send me nothing. It's all right. It's all right. I'm not. I know you guys aren't used to having people in your DMs a lot. I am as well because your mama's both in my DMs at the same time.
Oh God. All right, but I'm gonna wrap this up. We're gonna call you later or whenever they decide that. I guess they want you.
Yeah,
Forrest, it was great hearing from you.
DM anything. You can even talk to my secretary. Wonderful person.
All right, but we'll call you later.
Wonderful night. Enjoy your boring podcast with Brady on, and this will be the highest rated segment on the whole podcast.
We'll see.
Adios.
And the entitled millennial
Makes
Forrest
an
Dyson.
appearance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No. So back to what I was doing. Sorry, I just had to give him his couple minutes of fame real quick.
We would love to have Forrest on the show.
Well, how about that? He makes his debut
Yep.
with Brady Gibson, so his entitlement is still reigning supreme.
Yep.
The prodigal son.
Nobody else would have been on this show with Brady. So
It doesn't get turned off ever. I promise. So yeah, New Year's Knockout is going to be January 4th. We're starting things a little early this time. We're going to be starting at about 3 o'clock. And really, we're just trying to combat that cold weather.
yeah, temperature looks okay.
Yeah. We really,
It was
wanna
good until
thank
that
everybody
sun went down.
that came out and stuck it out with us last time. We just saved you guys a little bit of gripe. It saves us a little bit of gripe too because we're not getting back at the house at 1 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, we're doing a 3 o'clock start time. Let's see, did we put doors are going to be at, doors are at 3, show starts at 3:30. So we've got, let me find my notes again. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to have 5 matches.
Nice.
So it's the card's set up real well. Like I said, we went over 2 of them. There's 2 in here other than the main event that are going to be really over the top, that are going to really be a really good show.
You're going to be announcing throughout the week.
Yeah. The idea, like I said, Christmas, holidays,
Oh yeah.
is to get the rest of the flyers out, the match cards out, get everything really out there. But, like I said, just for the Facebook thing, like Kenny was talking about earlier, it's just so easy when we go to the event page and there's 25 people coming, there's 33 people in there. So we've shared it in all the DeLand groups and the Florida wrestling groups, and it's so easy.
Nice.
Just to
Well,
get
we'll
it
be
around.
there. We love being a part of this. We love talking to you, Forrest, and hopefully
So this
get a
is
couple
January 4th.
January
Yes,
4th.
yeah,
January 4th. Saturday at OB's.
Saturday OB's.
3 o'clock doors open. 3:30.
$10
price.
kids free.
Yeah, $10 and 10 and under are free.
Bring the kids. It's a
We
great
are,
show. The kids will enjoy
New
it.
merch.
Oh,
New
yeah.
merch for sale.
Yeah, we've got
Yeah.
merch. Shirts are gonna be $25 a piece. I don't have a price yet on the stickers. They're not gonna cost much because it really didn't cost me much to make them. We've had these wristbands since our first show. They're still there. There's a limited number of shirts. We have 5 smalls, 5 mediums, 5 larges, 5 extra larges. And
Get there early and get your
it.
shirt.
Yeah, once I'm out, I'm out. These are original run shirts, and I'm probably not going to do this design again with the new stuff that I showed you guys. So these are
We saw
be,
some really cool designs.
Yeah, these are going to be a first PWR exclusive shirt.
Get them while they're
gone,
hot.
They're gone.
It's like that old WWF emblem. You can't find it
Yeah,
anymore.
bring the family out to OB's. There's great food there.
Great
it's
drink
a great
specials.
time.
Oh,
yeah.
It's a
Chicken
good
wings
time.
are
Come on out. Yeah,
on point.
it's a nice night, and actually it'll be an afternoon, really.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to be an afternoon show, so it'll be
Half
good.
half in the daylight, half in the evening.
Yeah, well, I think we're probably going to be wrapped up by the time the sun goes down, which would be good.
Nice.
So it's not going to be, I'm probably looking at 2.5 hours show time, maybe.
Just before 6. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
So we got to be out of there by 7. They got a band coming out at 7 o'clock, so if you guys like music, they'll be on directly after
There you
us.
go.
Well, cool, man. Well, we can't thank you enough. Brady Gibson, co-owner of PWR Pro Wrestling Rebellion, right here in DeLand, Florida. We appreciate you coming on. We even got a little visit from the
entitled
from
one.
the entitled millennial. It wouldn't have been the right show. if he didn't come
it
on.
wouldn't have been a PWR podcast
Yeah.
without him. He's crashed the last 3 with Chris Carnage, so
Yeah.
you know why?
Hey, you guys know I'm a heel guy. I love
Oh, yeah.
Forrest. I love Forrest, and he will be our next.
I doubt he
guest.
thinks he's a heel. He's so
Yeah,
entitled.
no.
That's standard issue day to day. Like
Yeah.
that's normal
Look
stuff.
at he's consuming this podcast right
Yeah.
now. We're trying
No,
to end it, and we can't end it, and he's not even here. But no, it was good. Thanks for coming on, Brady.
Yeah,
we
we
really
appreciate
appreciate it. We'll all be there for next Saturday, January 4th. We'll be right there hearing those chops again. Like I still feel bad for
You
Shane
come out,
Evans,
come
who
say
was-
hello to us.
Yeah.
We'll have a beer and
Probably
say,
be hanging out with this guy as
Yeah.
a fan. And so thanks again. And the way we always end the show, Brady, in the great words of Jackie Moon,
ELE.
everybody love everybody. Thanks. Peace.
Peace.